Okay, let's look at some workflow using this melody editor. I'm going to play this simple 4-bar melody. Okay, so let's say what I want to do is play the four bars, then repeat it, but make a change to bar 8. In other words, I'm going to duplicate these 4 bars, and on bar 8, I'm gonna change the ending here. Okay, that would be an obvious direction for composing this little thing. So I could I've been playing around with different approaches, and I think this will be useful if you watch this. So one way I could do it, the first thing I thought, well, let me just stay inside the melody editor, and I'll duplicate the melody. Okay, that's what I wanted. And then I'll just make a change to these notes here. But the problem is that that's going to require basically kind of like a manual edit. Like, I don't want to do this parametrically, or whatever the word is, using the variations, because I have something specific in mind, and it's going to be a lot easier just to tweak these notes to play around with them. So what do we do? Okay, well, one approach would be just to add this to the clipboard, go to composition. Okay, I'm going to put my playhead cursor on 1. If I put it on, I'm going to paste those 8 bars into the composition window. Okay, so I could paste it here on bar 2, which I don't want to do, but just as an example. And the phrase will end up, the melody will end up starting on bar 2. I don't want that. Let me hit Control Z and just go to bar 1. Okay, and I'm going to paste it. Now it's 8 bars, but I've only got 4. All I have to do is drag out the timeline to 8 bars, and I've got the whole thing right there. I'll play it. So that's what we start, bars 1 through 4, and we're repeating that. Okay, all right. So we want to change just the notes in bar 8, right? Now, something to notice is that this, when we copy a melody from the in the melody editor, right? Remember, we hit add to clipboard, and we paste that into the composition window. It creates a melody generator. And I'll show you, because if we right click on this and we go to the magic wand, you can see that we have a type of generator. Now, it's not the same, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the regular melody generator has, or the chord generator. We don't have any rhythm options and things like that, but it does allow you to regenerate and play around and save the rhythm, so it's and apparently you can go back, like you could regenerate and then go back to the melody editor and edit in there. So I just wanted to point that out. But what we really want to do here, as I said, the focus is on, well, how do we change bar 8? And the simple way to do this is, once we get our melody into the main composition window, what we want to do, we need to convert this. You see, if we want to edit this, the best place to edit it is in the phrase editor. Let me let me delete these. Okay. The best place to edit this is in the phrase editor. So you might think, well, why don't we just go to the phrase editor and Control V to paste it in? But nothing happens. Okay, you cannot, even though it's in the clipboard, you can't paste the phrase from the melody editor right into the phrase editor. Okay, and if we double click, watch what happens when we double click the what's called the test melody here. Okay, it takes me back to the melody editor, and I don't want to go there. I want to edit this bar 8 in the phrase editor. Okay, so what do? Okay, how can we get into the phrase editor? Okay, answer is pretty simple. Just go to the note editor, okay, and just make one little change there. Okay, as soon as we do that, I'm going to go back to the phrase editor. As soon as we make that little change, notice that this is no longer a generator. You don't see that history. And if we right click, you try to select, you right click, try to select the magic wand, it says selected phrase is not a generator. So, point being that when you take one of these melody generators and you go into note edit and you make just one little change, it converts it. Okay, all right, now that it's converted, if we double click on this, boom, we're in the phrase editor. Okay, and that's going to be the easiest place to do manual edits on the individual notes of this melody. Okay, so now I can start moving these things around, and I can do it actually while I play. Advance the, let me stop. Move it. So I'll move the playhead there so we don't have to keep listening to this melody incessantly. By the way, it'd be like super useful if we had a looping function here. That would let me just concentrate. I could play the section that I want to work on and without playing the whole thing all the time, and that would give me if you know a way to do that, please put it in the comments, because that would be incredibly useful. But I don't see it. There is a looping capability, but you can't. That'll just loop the whole phrase, right? Yeah. Anyway, so now we can start. Tweaking this. It's getting better. All right. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I think we got it. I think you just saw that edit I made. Why the phrase editor is the way to go, because you're able to. Yeah, that's it. The thing about the phrase editor is that when you move the notes, you hear them. You hear the audition, so you can. It's like plucking away at the piano keyboard, right? You can hear like. That's why you want to use the phrase editor. Okay. There you go. So now we made our. After all that, we made our tweak. And it turned out that we tweaked 7 and 8, right? I thought we were just going to do bar 8, but we needed to, we needed to tweak 7 too. So we got our 2 endings. All right, so what do? We would apply changes to phrase and composition, right? Boom. And now we go here. And I think we've accomplished what we set out to do. Yeah, that's it. Now, we might actually want to repeat these 8 bars, but here, now that we're in the composition window, we would go to the structure, and these 8 bars are line 1, so we could just we could duplicate it and then tweak that section. So we go in there. Let's go back to the structure editor and just select bars 9 through 16 and start playing around with that. Okay, so there, I think that's the workflow. Okay, so to reiterate, we started with the melody editor. We got our melody from this module, and this is the most powerful way to do it in RapidComposer, clearly. We went from there, we added it to the clipboard, then we went into the composition window and we pasted it, okay? But when we pasted it, we ended up with a melody generator, which is great. However, the problem was that we couldn't go from the melody generator right into our phrase editor, where we need, this is the tool for making these like manual edits, these tweaks. So, and one of the principal reasons, well, first, it's very big. It gives you the most real estate. I mean, it really is. This is one heck of a piano roll. I mean, Fruity Loops is outstanding, but from a visual and size standpoint, this thing is unbeatable. I mean, there is no uh, bigger, this is like working with, if you have bad vision, this is like buying one of those books with the 24 point, the large print books, It just makes it easier to read. That's the way I see it, anyway. Um, okay, so I got off track there. So we went. Let me let me go back. So melody editor, right? Boom. Add to clipboard, right? Go to composition window. Paste, right? Control V. Paste, right? Then go to note editor, okay? Move a note, okay? Just move a note. Then move it back, okay? Go back to phrase editor. Then double click on the phrase. That's going to take you to your phrase editor, all right? Make your tweaks to the melody. Apply changes to composition, okay? Then you're ready to expand this melody. We go to our structure editor, and we duplicate it, and then we can go to work on the duplicated bars, which we've got here, 9 through 16. Okay, so that's the workflow. All right, I'll see you in the next video.